Have you ever had a moment where you suddenly and strongly felt that you mattered? And not because someone praised you, not because you proved something, but because something inside of you just remembered your worth. That's what we're going to talk about today. Aquaba, welcome to You Ain't Imagining This. I'm Amma Robin, your sister host and storyteller here in YAIT Town. And today, I'm sitting at the Umoja Café. If you've been here before, you know the feeling. The quiet hum of conversation, a cup settling gently onto a saucer, a soft rhythm of people gathering and sharing space. It's a place where people come to think. And lately, I've been thinking about something we talked about recently. Invisibility. And how many of us feel that we have been invisibilized. We talked about the quiet ways it shows up in our lives. We talked about those moments when we were present, but somehow not fully seen. We remembered moments when our voices just floated past people, or when our ideas were heard but not acknowledged. And of course, when our experiences are questioned, minimized, or overlooked. We named those moments invisibility. But invisibility is not the end of our story. And today I want to talk about the opposite of invisibility, mattering. What it feels like, what it looks like, and how we begin to recognize it in our lives. Because once you stop and name invisibility, something shifts forever. You stop assuming the problem is you, and you begin remembering something deeper. You matter. And you ain't imagining this. So let's talk about mattering. For me, one of the clearest moments when I feel that I matter is when I'm in service. Sometimes I volunteer at a food bank. And it's interesting because the feeling that comes over me in those moments isn't about being needed in some dramatic way. It's not about thinking, oh, they need me so badly. I'm coming in here to save everyone. It's something quieter than that. It's the feeling that I'm contributing something meaningful. Helping pack bags, sorting food, making sure families leave with what they need. Being fully present in the room. In those moments, I feel connected to something important. I feel that my time, my effort, my very presence actually in the space matters. But something else happens too. I notice that the people who come through those doors matter just as much. Their dignity matters. Their stories matter. Their families matter. And they matter simply by their presence in the room too. So the feeling of mattering or being seen is not just an individual experience. It becomes a collective or even reciprocal experience of mattering. Everyone in that space matters. The people serving, the people receiving, the people organizing, the people being. It's a shared recognition of human worth. And I felt that same kind of reciprocal mattering in another place too. When my friends and I gather together, my sisters group, if you've been listening to the podcast, I'm sure you remember that I mentioned them quite a bit. And when we sit and talk together and share and listen, something powerful is felt, or that I feel in those moments, because everyone's voice has space. Everyone's story is important. Everyone contributes. Everyone receives. Most importantly, everyone is fully present. And as we listen to one another, something very simple but very powerful becomes clear. We matter to each other. And that kind of mattering has a ripple effect. When you experience it, you begin to carry it with you. You begin to recognize it in yourself, and you begin to recognize it and offer it to other people too. So I've really begun to understand mattering in a totally different way. It's not just something that I notice, but it's something I feel. There are moments when mattering is not a question. It's something that I know. I feel it deep in my bones. It's something I stand inside of. I feel it in my body. It's a part of me. And for me, those moments feel like higher ground. Yes, I'm bringing that back in too, because higher ground, I think, is or should be part of our lives, part of how we exist on this planet, on this plane. These are places where my presence is not uncertain and not questioned, where my voice does not have to prove itself, and where my humanity is never, never, never questioned. I've also come to understand something else important, maybe even more important. Those moments are not only the places where I matter, they are the places where I feel it most clearly. Because mattering isn't absolute. Mattering is always there. But sometimes, hey, I'm going to admit it, I don't always feel it. But there are times, as I said, I feel it deep in my bones. And that's when I feel myself elevate. I feel the lift. I feel the transcendence. And I call it higher ground. I would love to know what you call it. And the truth is really here. Here's the truth. I'm never invisible. I always, always, always matter. And you too. There's something else I've come to understand about mattering, and that relates to what I just said. It's not only an individual experience. White Western society likes to say that, we are individuals. Yes, we are. And that the individual is the most important thing and really the only thing. But I know that the individual is important, but community in the collective is extremely important. And mattering to the individual is undeniable, but there is a kind of mattering that happens collectively. It happens between us and among us. A shared recognition, a mutual knowing. And to me, that, again, back to elevation, that lifts it up. And I feel it when I'm with people who truly see me. And I feel it when I make space to truly see them. Reciprocal. They see me, I see them, and together we elevate. And so when do I see them? When do they see me? When I listen, when I actively listen to people, when I honor someone's story, when I recognize their humanity without question. And honestly, I hope I do that in every interaction that I have. But when I'm consciously thinking of it, I definitely do. And I definitely feel the difference, and I feel that person's energy begin to elevate. Yes, because in those moments, something does shift. And it isn't just that I matter because I want to be listened to, because I'm an individual. All that's true. It becomes clear, undeniable, absolute that you matter too. And when that recognition moves back and forth between us, when we're surrounded by it, when we're immersed in it, mattering becomes something that we hold together and that holds us together, and something that we protect and honor and cherish together. When we see each other clearly, we strengthen our own sense of worth. We remind each other of what is true. It doesn't even have to be vocalized. It's felt, and the energy is present, and it's exchanged, and it's felt. But maybe the question isn't, do I matter? But where do I feel it? Where do I feel that I matter? Where do I feel grounded? Where do I feel seen? Where do I feel fully present in my own humanity? And that's going to bring us to our section on affirmations, because affirmations to me are absolutes, and they're little bitty powerful reminders of who we are. And when we hear them, generally we feel and say, oh yes, that's true. But sometimes we don't operate on them. So I think it's important to vocalize absolutes, to vocalize these truths so that they become a part of us. So let's begin. And I do want to sit in this truth because truth telling is a part of YAIT Town. And mattering is also something that's important to us, and it's not something that we earn. It's not something that we prove, but it is something that we remember. So let's remember together. Let's start with a deep breath. In through the nose and out through the mouth. I matter. I matter today. I matter right now. I matter every day. My mattering does not depend on anyone's permission. Mattering is my birthright. My presence has value. My voice carries meaning. My life has weight and significance. I matter whether others recognize it or not. I matter in rooms that understand me. And I matter in rooms that don't. I see that you matter. My worth does not shrink when others fail to see it. My humanity is not conditional. I matter simply because I am here. I see you. You matter. And we matter together. So let's wrap this up now. I know I've been saying a lot about mattering, and it is so important. But let's try to sit with this for a few minutes then, because mattering isn't something we earn. That's right. Mattering is not earned. It is not conditional. Mattering is something we remember. And sometimes it only takes one place or one conversation or one moment of clarity to bring us to that truth and to bring us and elevate us to that heightened sense of mattering. Of when you feel it deep in your bones and you feel it in your soul, And you can feel it all around you that you matter. And that heightened sense, that is transcendent. You matter. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. Asante Sana, thank you so much for being here today. And you ain't imagining this.